the community, board members, elected officials, community partners, and presenters this evening. We're about to start our meeting, and we're going to start with the invitation to be given by Hardy Joe Wall.
Good evening, everyone. So we please stand, join your hands with the person that's next to you. Father God, we thank thee for this day. This is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice because we're glad to be among the living. Now, Father God, as we go through taking care of the business for the community, look down upon us that we might be able to handle and do things in your will. Father God, it's not about us, it's all about you. So when we can continue to take care of what it is you say for us to do for this community, we know that everything will be all right. In your kingdom, there are no big eyes and little U's. So, Father God, we want to educate every one of the members of the board and the members of the community to search your own heart, to know what's in your heart, and what you're doing for the community, and what we're trying to do to better this community. Father God, we know it's hard, but we joined this board to be able to do what this community wants. So continue to bless us. Bless our district manager, Mr. Butler. Bless our chair, Mr. Franco. And bless all the members of this board that we might continue to stay on the battlefield for you. This is my prayer to you. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right. So I'm just going to go over the agenda for this evening. First, it's going to be remarks from the chairperson, myself, acknowledgement of elected officials and community partners, followed by the district manager's report, followed by 2 informational presentations, and I think both of them are here. The American Red Cross. American Red Cross will be giving a presentation, and then Economic Development Committee is going to have a presentation from Northeast Brooklyn Housing Development Corp. It's going to be followed by a public hearing coming from the Transportation, Sanitation, and Environment Committee. And I know the presenters here for transportation, followed by community announcements. Then we're going to have a roll call of board members. There's going to be a vote tonight on our a report and a vote on the bylaws, followed by committee updates and resolutions, action on the public hearing, chairperson's report, acceptance of the March 4th minutes, and then adjournment. So I'm going to just start with my remarks, and as was stated earlier, we are being live streamed, so please be aware. I'm just going to briefly report on some of the activities that I've participated in since our last board meeting. To start, there's a borough board meeting. It takes place every month at Borough Hall, so there were 2 items on the agenda for the borough board meeting. One was a presentation from Canva Home Base, and they talked about their anti-eviction services. They also outlined some of the results of their research on eviction risk factors. Secondly, this doesn't affect us, but it affects our neighbors in the south and also on the coastline. City planning gave a presentation on zoning on flood resiliency. So, city planning, after, based on many of the lessons they learned from the aftermath of 2012's Hurricane Sandy, is coming up with a draft proposal that's gonna change some of the zoning in flood areas. So they're gonna be coming out with the proposal in the next few weeks. So that was the borough board meeting. Now, some of these things I'm gonna kind of abbreviate because I know the district manager was also at some of these meetings, but I'll just give you a flavor for some of the other activities that I was involved with over the last month. The district manager and I, on March 6th, attended a meeting on Von King Park. And I'll just say briefly that that project is delayed. The district manager will probably go into more detail about it, but it is delayed. But on a positive note, they will be having free concerts in the park on a portable stage this summer. I gave testimony at a joint hearing that was held at Borough Hall. The hearing was held on March 15th, and the Assembly, New York State Assembly and New York State Senate held the hearing. The subject was to examine the crisis facing homeowners in Brooklyn. There were approximately 20 speakers, and they spoke on issues related to foreclosures, the very controversial third-party transfer program, and a lot of issues that HDFCs are having with HPD. The subject that I spoke about was measures that could be taken to reduce property fraud. And I offered 4 legislative and policy recommendations. I'm only going to mention one of them. And that's that the legislature mandate that all counties in the state set up a system similar to the ACRIS notification system, so that property owners will get notified whenever documents are recorded against their property. For those of you out there this evening, if you are a property owner, you really should register with ACRIS. It's a free notification system. And I was actually the victim of property fraud. And the way that I was able to deal with the situation quickly is that I got a notice the day after the fraud was committed through ACRIS. So they will send you an email whenever anything happens, whenever anything gets recorded against your property. So one of the things I suggested was that they make that a statewide system. Had a meeting with the 300 Van Buren Block Association. Any of the members here from Van Buren? Okay, well, they were having a problem with, there's a vacant building that had a water main break and it flooded the basements of 4 of their neighbors. So I just did some research, gave them contact information so they can get in touch with the owner of the vacant building. I'll just briefly mention a few other events. There was a town hall with Scott Stringer last week. It was well attended. Restoration Corporation has started a focus group. So they're looking at what they're going to do over the next 50 years with restoration. Restoration Plaza was founded 50 years ago. So they've hired an architect, internationally known architect, Sir David Ajayi. And I don't know if district manager may talk a little bit more about that. We also had a meeting with HPD, several members of the community board, including the chair for land use, C. Doris Penn, Ellen Miller, first vice chair. I think Reverend Dingle was there. And it's going to be the first of several meetings regarding HPD's Bed-Stuy housing initiative. And should be culminating in long-awaited RFPs for city-owned land at Saratoga Square. I'm sure former board chair Surrounding Curry may remember that. So we're trying to get them to move on that, as well as the Bank Court project, which is on Myrtle Avenue. Also, I'm just going to briefly mention, and I'm sure the district manager is going to go into more detail. District manager set up a meeting to address a lot of the community concerns regarding work that National Grid is doing through their contractor, Howard. So there are a lot of issues about property damage and people being disrespected. So that just took place, I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. So I'm sure the district manager will talk in more detail about that. We're gonna move on to the acknowledgement of elected officials and community partners. So please be ready, and you will have 2 minutes. So I'm gonna just call out my 5 names at a time. If you could be ready, this order: representing Borough President Eric Adams, Candace Julian, followed by Representative Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez, Mr. Shelton Jones, followed by Representative for State Senator Montgomery, Stephanie Zinnerman, followed by Representative for Walter Mosley, Lucian Allen, followed by the Representative for Assemblywoman Tremaine Wright, Maceo Paree. Then if you could please be ready, 2 minutes.
Okay.
While we're waiting, we were just joined by the legendary general in the battle for community empowerment, Dr. Albert Van.
Good evening, Bedford. Again, my name is Candace Julian, your liaison at the Office of the Brooklyn Borough President, Eric L. Adams. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to pick up the Borough President's Message of the Month, so you'll know all the fun things that are happening at Borough Hall this month. There's 2 weeks left in the tax season. We're working in partnership with Borough Brooklyn, so feel free to come down to Borough Hall. They have a drop-off service if you don't have the time to stay and wait to have your taxes done. We have a career transition fair coming up in a couple weeks, a senior tech fair, mortgage assistance program, and of course, the Borough President's favorite vegan meetups. But we're keeping busy in the middle of the community board reappointment and appointment process and capital budget process. For the current board members, if you're unsure if you submitted your reappointment application, if you're due to submit an application this year, please reach out to me. I have the list with me. And if there's anything the members of the district want to reach out and alert for our president to, feel free to reach me at 718-802-3981. Thank you.
Thank you. While the next speaker is coming up, just wanted to acknowledge Deputy Inspector Charles Bench, as well as Detective McLeod.
Right.
From the 79th Precinct. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shelton Jones. I'm here representing your Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Gonzalez rolled out his Justice 2020 plan. There was a big press conference. We met with elected officials at our office prior to releasing it. And I have a brief pamphlet here that outlines the 4 pillars of Justice 2020. It looks like this. In the interest of respecting my 2-minute time limit, I'm not going to go through it with you. I'm going to let you read it. If you have any questions about it, I'll give you my number. If you want me to bring some more of these pamphlets, to your meetings to discuss Justice 2020, please feel free to reach out to me. My number is 718-250-3146. Again, that's 718-250-3146. Justice 2020 full report is also on our website, and that is www.brooklynda.org. You can read the full report if you would like to, but again, this abbreviated version is on the table out front, and I'll be more than happy to drop them off to any of your neighborhood meetings, your community meetings, block association meetings, tenant association meetings, whatever, just reach out to me, and I'll be sure to bring them by. Again, if you have any complaints that relates to the Brooklyn DA's office, you can reach us at our Action Center, 718-250-2340. Again, that's 718-250-2340. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you,
God
Mr.
bless.
Jones.
Good evening, my name is Stephanie Zimmerman, and I'm here representing State Senator Donna Montgomery. As you all know, the state senators and the assembly just finished the budget with the governor, so please look forward. If you haven't already gone through it, please go through it and look at what they're funding this year. Is very important. But I just want to give you a follow-up to the March 15th TPT hearing that took place at Borough Hall in conjunction with Assemblywoman Tremaine Wright and Borough President Adams. We want to thank, Senator wants to thank the community for coming out and testifying. It was a full house. And as you all know, since that time, 6 of the foreclosures have been overturned. Those people will get their property back. But the senator wants you to know that she is not letting this go. She is submitting a letter for a full audit of the TPT program, and she's going to be reviewing any of the municipal liens, as well as any other foreclosures that have been done during this period. As you know, Bedford, Stuyvesant, Crown Heights, and most of her district has been affected. So she is calling on her colleagues to make sure that there is a full investigation of what has happened to our community. So we thank you for your support, and we look forward to working with you on this issue, as well as protecting children and families, because that's the committee that she chairs, and you are the lifeblood of our community. So thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lucian Allen. I'm Community Liaison for Assemblyman Walter Mosley. As she mentioned, like the budget was passed, so the Assemblyman will be hosting a Facebook Live at the Town Hall in regards to that. So I will basically let everybody know, I guess the next meeting is like when that'll happen, so you definitely tune in and see what the Assemblyman has to say in regards to that. We had Assemblyman hosted his Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act community conversation. This was on the 21st of March. And so if anybody was not able to come and attend that, that is also on the Assemblyman's Facebook page. So please go there and check out exactly what was discussed and definitely learn more about that discussion. The Assemblyman will also be hosting a block party. It's going to be in September on the first week. It's going to be on the block of 55 Hanson Place. So those details aren't completely finalized, so that's other information that we will let you all know about when they have finalized. So if there are any issues that you'd like me to relate to Assemblyman directly, please come and talk to me. I can give you my card. The number for the office is 718-596-0100. Again, it's 718-596-0100. And again, please feel free and come talk to me, and I can relate anything you'd like to the subject. Thank you.
Okay, if you could please be ready, this order after Mr. Kareem speaks. Karen Cherry from Assemblyman Deland's office, Jacqueline Williams from Councilmember Cornegie's office. We got 2 representatives from the New York Public Library, Amin Isaac and Marsha Gibbon, and then Dr. Kim Best from the 79 Precinct Council. 2 minutes, please.
Good evening, how you doing? Great. So my name is Macy, I'm from Assemblywoman Tremaine Wright's office, and I put a lot of pamphlets out there, please pick them up. We're having a Women Distinction Award, April 12th, 7 p.m. If you have any complaints, any constituent complaints, please talk to me. I want to stress the census as well. a lot of Brooklyn, Central Brooklyn is underrepresented and undercounted because of the census. And we have the homeowners guide outside, so please pick up the pamphlets. And if you have any complaints, please come talk to me. I'm gonna take you on the spot and work. Thank you.
I think Karen, you just want to be acknowledged. Is Karen Sher? Oh, you coming up?
But I'm going on the film because I have to know for attendance.
Okay. You ready for your close-up? There you go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brady Reading on behalf of the 7th and Line. I'm leaving parking pamphlets out for the year. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Test, 1, 2.
Please speak into the mic.
Good evening, everyone. I bring greetings on behalf of Councilmember Carnegie's office. My name is Jacqueline. Brief reminder that we have a monthly advisory board meeting, and it's going to be on April 13th. That is Saturday morning between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. The meeting topic will be affordable housing and home ownership. If you need further information, kindly call our office at 718-919-0740. You can speak with me myself. My name is Jacqueline again. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Okay, so please, again, in this order, is the two representatives from the public library here. They're gonna be followed by Idris Abdullah from the 79th Precinct Council, followed by Dan Fisher from the 81st Precinct Council, followed by Omar Holloway from First Street Development.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Nadine Isaac. I come from the Bacon branch, and I just want to get something quick. Sorry about that. I always have a problem with the mic. Okay, so I just wanted to let you all know that on May the 3rd, we're gonna have our 3rd annual Mother's Day event at the Bacon Library. It's from 5 to 8. All adults are invited, no children. You have to register online. We also have another, we are participatory budgeting web. We are participatory budgeting voting site. We will be available tomorrow, April the 2nd until Thursday, April 4th, from 4 to 7 p.m. So you can come and vote on PB voting projects. And my last announcement is that Brooklyn Public Library is celebrating One Book, One New York. So if you want some good and interesting reading, you can come to the library and choose a book. Have a good evening.
Good evening, my name is Marcia McGibbon, I'm come from the Marcy Library.
Quiet, please.
Once again, just to remind you that the library is making a big push for teens. We've been doing children for years, we're pushing for teens. My library at DeKalb in Nostrand, I've already set up my little teen corner, we want the teens to come. And more important, but not too important than teenagers, the Eric Adams is doing the Narcon trainings. My library is one of the sites. April 10th, 6 to 8, Narcon training, Brooklyn Public Library, Marcy Branch. Thank you.
Thank you. While we're waiting for our next speaker, Idris Abdullah, I just wanted to acknowledge Judge Betty State.
1, 2.
Okay, Judge Betty State from Brooklyn Legal Services. Idris.
Good evening. My name is Idris Abdullah, 79th Precinct Community Council, and this is a reminder of our monthly meetings. If you did not get the flyer, we have the flyer that's out on the table. Please make sure that you pick up the flyer and try to attend these meetings. These precinct council meetings is extremely important for a couple of reasons. This is the way that we begin to bridge the gap between the police and the community and the police and the community in our neighborhood. And unless we have the safest communities in the neighborhood, I think we need all of the participation of all of our local residents. These are the meetings where we begin to let the police department know what we like, what we don't like, some ways that we can assist them, and maybe some ways that they can assist us. So again, the 79th Precinct Community Council meeting is April the 24th. It's always the 4th Wednesday of every month at the Brooklyn Job Corps, 585 DeKalb Avenue, starting time 7 p.m. sharp. And also a reminder is our Easter egg hunt that we usually have at Bon King. Easter egg hunt at Barn King, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., April the 13th. Rain date is April the 20th. So again, come out. These precinct council meetings in the community is very important. Again, thank you. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you. Following Dan Fisher will be Omar Holloway, followed by Joey Jordan from the YMCA, followed by Faye Moore from Drive, New York City, followed by Surrogate Court Judge Margarita Lopez Torres.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Good. Hi, my name is Daniel G. Fisher. I'm the president of the 81st Precinct Community Council. And to piggyback on what my brother Idris said, the precinct council meetings are extremely important. The meeting takes on a safety slant. However, I always try to have issues that are pertinent to the community and somebody there to speak on them. This upcoming month, we're going to have the New York City Department of Health come. They were supposed to come back in January, had a little mishap, so we're hoping to have Dr. Tony Eastling, who's no stranger to the community. He's been here several times, so to have him at our meeting. We had a wonderful March meeting, Women's History Month, where we honored the lovely and talented Sharon Perry over there. Sharon Perry. That's something that we're doing every year. Black History Month, Women's History Month. We want to recognize folks who are doing good in the community and give people their flowers when they can smell them, right? So now, our upcoming meeting is next Tuesday, April 9th at 7 p.m. at 1958 Fulton Street. I just told you who our special guest will be, and like Idris said, we always have our commanding officer there, Deputy Inspector Winston Faison, to be able to speak to directly to safety issues that are affecting all of us in the community. And we work with the police to make our neighborhood, our community, the way we want it, the best way it can be. And it takes all of us to be there. I want to invite you to our play that we're doing. We had a wonderful play last year. We had such a great time. We're doing it again this year. A different play. It's called Ugly is a Hard Pill. It's going to be on Saturday, April 13th. We're doing not one, but two shows this year. A show at 2 o'clock and a show at 6 o'clock. So either way, if you're busy during the night, come during the day. And if you're busy during the day, come during the night. Make it a date night for yourselves. And we partnered with Sherry's Restaurant in Bedford. I don't know if you know Sherry. Sherry's on 216 Malcolm X Boulevard. Anybody who comes to the play and presents their ticket stub will get a 10% off of dinner, lunch, or their meal. It's going to be a fabulous time. Again, that's Saturday, April 13th, show at 2 p.m. and at 6 p.m. at 1958 Fulton Street. It's going to be a great time. I just see my Detective Narcisse, just walking through the room. Conrad Narcisse, raise your hand.
2 minutes?
Excellent.
2 minutes went on?
Are they on?
Yeah.
No, it's just warming up. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night. Hope to see you on April 13th.
Thank you, sir.
If you please be ready, it's Omar Holloway, followed by Joey Jordan, followed by Faye Moore, followed by Judge Margarita Lopez Torres. The last two speakers will be Serrani Perry and Dr. Albert.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do all of this in 2 minutes. First, participatory budgeting. If you live in the 36th district, there's Councilman Bruce Cornegie. We have some young people outside who are taking votes. It's Digital Girl Inc. and my base. The young people were taught how to encourage the vote for participatory budgeting projects. So either you can go outside and vote, or you can go online at pbnyc.org, vote, and there are a number of places that you can go throughout the week. So please get out and vote. On April 27th, Bridge Street Development Corporation is hosting with the Bed-Stuy Works Alliance of Block and Tenant Associations our annual Flower Bed-Stuy. It will be held on April 27th from 8:30 to 3. So if you're a Block and Tenant Association and would like to participate or know more about Flower Bed-Stuy, please come see me or where's Reverend Dingle.
Not here.
Not here.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna pass the torch there too. Okay, last but not least, today, SYP went online. That Summer Youth Employment Program. Bridge Street Development Corporation is the only host site in Bed-Stuy. We are the host site, so we are looking for businesses, organizations that would like to host, employ an intern for the summer. And we are also taking applications. Remember, it's a lottery for 16 to 21-year-olds who want to apply for SYP. The minimum wage is $15 an hour. It will start July 8th. There are only 25 days for young people to register. 14 and 15-year-olds can also register, and 22 to 24 can register for certain programs. NYCHA has programs, and some of the schools have school-based SYP. But it started today at 11 o'clock. They sent it out at 9. At 11 o'clock, there were 7,000 applications that were already submitted. So it is by lottery. If you would like to know more, please see me. But so it opened up today. You only have until April 26th, and if you're a work site, please submit an application. Thanks.
Thank you for that information.
Good evening. So, during the month of April, we have a number of activities. We'd love to invite the community to come out to the Bedford Snacks and Wine. On this Saturday, April 6th, we are hosting the Teen Career Forum. This is for middle schoolers and high schoolers. We'll have over 25 professionals to discuss their careers, how they got to where they are, how you network, and how you make a successful career choice. And on April the 27th, there are flyers outside, of course, for these events as well. April 27th, we're hosting our Healthy Kids Day event, open to the community, games, activities, workshops, and a lot of nutritional information, as well as our Safety Around the Water week of April the 22nd during the break. So there's a list of activities that young people or families can sign up for to participate in Safety Around the Water activities at the branch during that week. Flyers are outside, and please stop by. Thank you.
Thank you. While our next speaker is coming, I just wanted to acknowledge, I think the former district manager, is Louis Watkins here?
He left.
Oh, he left, okay.
Giving honor and glory to God tonight, thanking God for the state legislators who fought against the cuts that Cuomo wanted to make pertaining to health care and restoring the Medicaid and health care budget that will affect our communities, and we thank God for that. On another note, y'all can give it up. On another note, One Brooklyn Health, it's Brookdale, Kingsbrook, and Interfaith Medical Center. The governor had us on a horse and buggy show all during the election. He kind of neglected a little bit to put up that money that he promised us, but now we have put his feet to the fire, and that money's going to be coming down, and now we're in the transitional stage that those 3 hospitals now will become one, and it will become One Brooklyn Health. And I'm proud to say that Ray Brown, who is the CEO and president of Interfaith Hospital, is also the CEO of One Brooklyn Health, first African-American woman in the country to hold the position. On another note, I want to announce the passing of Diane Porter. Diane Porter is an intricate part of Interfaith Hospital. She was the founder of the IM Foundation. I remember when we were going through bankruptcy and couldn't make payroll, the IM Foundation put up over $5 million so people would not go without a paycheck. We're in the process of planning her memorial, and I will bring that information forward. We lost a legend losing Diane Porter, but to God be the glory.
So Faye Moore is going to be followed by Judge Margarita Lopez Torres, followed by Dr. Albert.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Faye Moore, and I'm here on behalf of Friendship Baptist Church. We have partnered with Thrive New York City. Are hosting almost all of their classes. I was here in early March. We had the youth module, very successful. On April 27th, the class will be about mental health first aid for senior citizens. A lot of us, we call, how you doing, grandma, auntie, uncle? I'm okay, and we think that they're okay, and sometimes something else is going on. This training will give you the tools and things to think about when you're interacting with the seniors that you love. We're also going to be hosting the regular adult certification in May, and the certification to help people coming out of the military in June. I have the flyers here on the 27th. I know that Woodhull Hospital is doing something from 10 to 2. We're also having free mammograms from 2 to 5. So if you're interested in either one, the mental health first aid or the free mammograms on the 27th from 2 to 5, I'll be sitting back there for a while. I'll take your information and I will follow up with you. Thank you. Let's get well.
Thank you.
Buenas noches, good evening. My name is Judge Margarita Lopez Torres, and I'm currently the surrogate judge in Kings County. I come here by way of the lovely island of Puerto Rico, and I was raised in Brownsville, East New York, and Flatbush. And because of the Upward Bound program, a youth program that helped me get into college, I did, and later on, I became a teacher. Then I went to law school. I was a legal services attorney. And for the last 26 years, I've had the absolute privilege of being a judge in Brooklyn. I've been in the family court, the housing court, criminal court, and for the last 14 years, I've been in the surrogates court, which is the court where people go to settle the affairs of a person who has passed away, and also do guardianship proceedings and adoption. It's a very family-centered court, and I believe that what is needed is someone with knowledge, experience, and compassion, because you can't have justice without compassion. I believe I have those attributes, and I hope that you do also. And if you will allow it, I will continue to serve you as your surrogate judge. And thank you very much for these few moments. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Last speaker will be Dr. Albert Bad.
Yes.
That was very shallow. Don't know how many more, it doesn't matter. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to extend my sympathy to Diane Porter's family and friends and loved ones. The major loss to our community. I have very good news. I wish I could tell you that our illegitimate president is no longer in office. Not quite that good. But I'm here representing the community advisory board of Boys and Girls High School. Many of you will remember several years ago, after Frank McKenzie left, the school was designated as a failing school. And consequently, the state took it over, put it in receivership, as it were, and the New York City Department of Education deemed it a renewal school. So it is designated as a failing school. This is after being internationally really recognized, both academically and athletically. So it's at that time, actually, I was there with Frank Mickens. I've been around for a long time dealing with it. And so I sort of declined. And a number of your leaders from the community came together and we formed an advisory committee for the school. The then mayor had plans to close the school. A lot of you may have remember hearing about that. That's when we really got together to fight that decision that was being made. There's several advisory board members in the audience. I see Brownstone, Lynette Rogers. I see the Honorable Betty, Legal Services, Dr. Gordon Dean, are among those who serve as the community advisory board. But we were able, using our local elected officials and all the powers of the community, to thwart, if you will, the mayor's decision that other mayor, not the current mayor, and the former chancellor who wanted to close it. We fought that back and were able to get them to change those plans. But then we had to produce. We could only hold it off for so long. And we've been very fortunate. We had a number of educators who came in the interim, and then topped off by the recent principal, Mrs. Grecian Harrison Walker, who is the principal, been there now, moving into the third year. And so I'm here for good news. We're back. Boys and girls are back. We are no longer in receivership. We're no longer a renewable city. We have returned to academic. Let me say it one more time. We have returned to academic excellence at Boys and Girls High School. And we're gonna celebrate. And we want everybody there in this community. This is a big deal, you know. Not only did they not close it, but now we're moving to the top of academic excellence. And we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna show our appreciation to the principal and all of her staff, the teachers and the PTA, the students, everybody there. The community is gonna come out and show our appreciation, and we want you to be a part of that. I want to commend you, number one, for being involved in our community. It makes a major difference. If you're not in it, then you're not going to get what we need and what we deserve, you know, for our families and for our kids. So I appreciate everybody who comes out and get involved in whatever level. There's one more thing I want you to do. On April the 11th, I think we have some flyers there that will be made available to you or pick them up. Please, let's come out and show Principal Walker and everybody in that, our students and staff and everybody, how much we recognize and appreciate what they've been able to achieve. April 11th in the evening, 5:30, 6:30 will be reception. 6:30 will start the actual program. It won't be long. A lot of your leaders will come out as well. And so they pulled me out of retirement. So I could come out and let you know how important this is for everybody to come. No, I'm not running again, but please come out to this event. It's very important. Thank you very much. Love you all.
I just wanted to acknowledge Detective Narcisse. She here?
Yes.
81st Precinct? Thank you.
All right.
All right. We're gonna move on to the district manager's report, given by Mr. Henry Butler.
Let's wait. Test the 1, 2. Guess waiting on the man. The man called our van. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. About to get Henry Butler, district manager. About to get district manager's report. You can find the report out on the table outside if you do not have it in your possession. So, at the monthly borough service cabinet meeting of district managers, there was a presentation by the organization Calvin Lord. They are building a new health center on 40 Flatbush Avenue, dedicated to the LGBTQ community, but open to everyone. We had a presentation by the Street Activity Permit Office, SAPO. Some of the details were all street closure requests must be done online. For those who are not used to it, you have to do block party requests online. Block parties do not require insurance, so if you're looking to close your block off and do an event, list it as a block party. If you list it as something else, you're gonna have to get insurance and a whole lot of other things. So just keep that in mind. If you're doing block cleanup day, that doesn't require insurance also. Those are only for 4 hours. You can close your block off for a block cleanup day. All applications must be submitted. All applications must be submitted no later than 90 days. No later than 90 days from the day you're requesting. The local precincts make the final decision. Sometimes, you know, people are calling up to the community board. How come my day didn't get approved? If you live in the 7-9, call the 7-9. If you live in the 8-1, call Detective Narcisse back there. That's who makes the final decision on block party applications. I'm going to move on now to the meetings that were attended this last month. There was a community roundtable discussion with New York City Controller Scott Stringer. Some of the highlights: the controller would like to do away with the mortgage recording tax. He stated there are 566 city-owned vacant lots in Brooklyn, 1,100 overall. Agencies have 30 days to review contracts, but the controller feels that they are sitting on contracts. The controller is looking to speed up the procurement process. Next meeting, Mr. Flato mentioned that we had a meeting with Brooklyn Borough Commissioner for Parks, Mr. Martin. He mentioned about Vaughn King. So Vaughn King renovation is unfortunately 2 years behind schedule. Yeah, the funding was actually originally given by former Councilman Al Van, who originally put funding in for the renovation of the cultural center, and it was supposed to also be the kitchen area. Once they discovered that they needed to make the theater ADA accessible, they took the funding away from the kitchen area. So what's going on is every time they dig and they're going into that building, they're finding there are more and more and more problems. So the original contract that they have with the contractor, they have to keep renewing and changing it because there are more problems that they notice with this building. Truth be told, this is Henry Butler's opinion. The building probably need to be knocked down and built back from the ground up. But that's what happens when you don't do maintenance and take care of things. They're finding so many problems with that building. But permits for the stage use are allowed. However, you have to provide your own electricity. The city concerts will take place on the lawn. The city concerts start in June for the month of June. Parks Department, they are looking to take down the fencing by the start of summer to provide access to the bathrooms. So hopefully by the start of summer, we'll have access to the bathrooms. Attended a local block association meeting in Van Buren between Patchett and Malcolm X. I also had a meeting with Job First NYC. Job First NYC is a privately funded organization, but they work closely with the Department of Youth and Community Development, DYCD. Councilman Koenig invited them to work with our local community-based organization to create more workforce development opportunities. They will work with Community Board 3 Economic Development Committee. Job First NYC, they're in talks right now with the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce and the Brooklyn Navy Yard. I emphasize that training is great, but job placement must follow afterwards. A lot of training takes place, but then there's no jobs for them once the training is over with. We did have a meeting with the Department of Transportation on the Bed-Stuy Ocean Hill Transportation Survey. They're going to go into a full detailed presentation on that tonight. I also had a meeting with my National Grid liaison. It's a yearly survey that they do with us. Basically, they want me to convince you guys that the rate increase we're about to get, that is necessary. So they asked me to convince y'all of that. So I guess putting that out there. The rate increase is about to happen. So some of the things that they're offering, if you construct a sustainable building, you can qualify for a financial award from National Grid. National Grid has economic development market opportunities for businesses. National Grid would like to, they wanted a list of all future and current housing developments taking place in our district. They need to assess the energy demand that's going to take place. That's a conversation we need to have sooner rather than later with all the housing that's going up in our district. National Grid, Con Ed, DEP with the water, MTA. This is the conversation we need to have. Not 10 years from now when everything is falling apart, we're overcrowded, and we can't get enough electricity, we can't get enough heat, the water's not working, not reaching to the top floors. This is the conversation we need to have about the infrastructure that's going to have to take place in Bedford Stuyvesant with all the housing development that's taking place in our district. As Mr. Flato mentioned, we did have a meeting with HPD and some of their community partners on the Bedford Housing Initiative. As he mentioned, Saratoga Square, Van Court, and also the property that's located by the Utica Avenue train station. Everybody knows where the old tennis courts are, that they're not used as a skateboard area, but the skateboard they're looking to develop that piece of property also. So this is going to be a year-long community conversation. It will also include workshops and resource fairs for homeowners and renters. So it's a long report. We should have a request for a proposal, RFP, on all 3 properties by the end of the year. That's what we're looking to have. They also, as I said, a meeting with Restoration Plaza about their new mission, the future look of the complex. The mission basically is to try to close the wealth gap and health outcomes in education for the Black community compared to other communities. Mr. Flatt told me they did hire famed architect David Ajay. I believe he developed the African American Museum that's in Washington, D.C. There was the Bedford Stuyvesant Town Hall with New York City Controller Scott Stringer. Our Education Youth Committee had their social media workshop. Also, for those who did not make it, comedian actor Bed-Stuy's own Tracy Morgan had an event at the Hattie Carthon Community Garden where him and TBS gave funding to help renovate the garden. Yes, there was a community meeting with National Grid. The meeting was for the following block associations: Brainbridge, Decatur, McDonough, and Macomb between Stuyvesant and Lewis. National Grid, they're doing major construction in the area. The office was receiving a lot of complaints about damages taking place on those blocks in that vicinity. So I had to call a meeting with National Grid and their contractor, Howland. So basically, Howland has the contract with National Grid. They do all the work for National Grid. There's been a history of us having issues with National Grid. People's property has been damaged. Their cars have been damaged. So we were able to have, I believe, a productive meeting. We had the claims unit out there. We had National Grid. We had the representatives from Howland out there also. Obviously, there will be follow-up with them and with the block associations to make sure that they are satisfied. If any construction is taking place by National Grid on your block, you see Howland Construction, please call the community board office. We get the notice, I will send it to the block president. Sometimes the block president don't spread the word and let you know what's going on. So if you see any work being done by Howland and National Grid, please contact our office. Community Board 3 committees have several events and meetings that are coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get involved in the community board, please join our committees. For example, our Veterans Committee. They're having a tribute to our veterans Wednesday, April 24th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Brooklyn Recovery Center, 20 New York Avenue. This is the flyer right here. That is April 24th. Our Health and Social Service Committee having an event program, Fighting for Our Lives, Strengthening Our Community. That is Saturday, April 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Woodhall Hospital, 10th floor, Solarium, 760 Broadway. This is that flyer for the Health and Social Service Committee meeting. Economic Development Committee. Economic Development Committee Conference will take place May 16th from 6 to 9 at Restoration Plaza in the Skylight Gallery. This is that flyer. All these flyers are out there. The Housing and Land Use Committee. They're having a town hall meeting on current and future development projects in our district Thursday, May 30th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Restoration Plaza right here in this room. It's the save the date flyer for you. May 30th, there's a lot of development that's going to be taking place in our district. Not just the 3 properties Mr. Flaxman and myself mentioned. There's a whole lot more development that's going to be taking place in the district. If you want to know what's going to be built and the difference between one project and another project, please make sure you save this date, May 30th, to attend that meeting. Parks, Arts, and Cultural Committee will have State of the Parks. That will be Wednesday, June 5th, 6 to 9 at Excellent Boys Charter School, 225 Patchen. That's this flyer right here. And our Education Youth Committee, they're having their 3rd annual Education Youth. 3rd annual Bedford Bed-Stuy 2019 voting is taking place now. I'm sure there will be a third report on the committee updates, but that is this flyer right here. If you have any questions on any announcement, wait a minute. Charlie's Place Visioning Session. This just came in today. Charlie's Place Playground, we got funding to renovate the playground. Charlie's Place Playground, they're having a visioning session next Thursday, April 11th. That will take place at PS 373K, Brooklyn Transition Center, in the cafeteria, 185 Ellery Street. That is taking place next Thursday. That flyer looks like this. The north end of the district, Charlie's Place Playground. And the last announcement will be New York City Commissioner of Human Rights. They're having a second annual MWBE Networking Week series event. That flyer is out there. This is that flyer right here. Once again, any questions on any announcements that I made, I will be around here all the way to the end of the meeting. I'm going nowhere. So just come up and talk to me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for your extensive report, Mr. Butler. So we're gonna go on to our informational presentations. We have two informational presentations tonight. First one is coming out of the Civic and Public Safety Committee. The introduction will be given by the chair of the committee, Stacy Ruff.
Good evening, everyone. Is Jasenia Rodriguez here from American Red Cross? American Red Cross. Okay, so we will not be having that information.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our next presentation. So, it's coming from the Economic Development Committee, and the introduction is gonna be given by the District Manager, Mr. Henry Ruff.
Good evening, everyone. That was funny? We're going to have a presentation about Northeast Brooklyn Housing Development Corporation on workforce development opportunities. The presentation will be given by Mr. Jeffrey Dunstan and Ms. Stacy Barnes. Ms. Stacy Barnes. Mr. Jeffrey Dunstan is the CEO of Northeast Brooklyn, and Ms. Barnes is in charge of workforce development opportunities.
Good evening, everyone.
It's in. You got the PowerPoint,
So, good evening again. So we want to talk to everyone about the Van Dyke Apartments project in Brownsville, more so from a economic development opportunity for the community and surrounding communities. This project will consist of 180 new units of housing, as well as on the ground floors, we will have urgent care and a wellness center that will be occupied by BMS, and a daycare center and pre-K program that will be occupied by Friends of Brown Heights. So, so we are very excited about this project. So some of the partners in this project is Trinity Financial. They have offices in New York and Boston. They have over 30 years in operations. They have done consistently public housing, affordable housing, market rate housing. They have 9,100 units and over 800,000 square feet of retail, 7,000 units under management, with properties in New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Our role in the project, and Trinity Financial actually completed a project up in Harlem called Randolph Houses, which was a very similar project, but this was a rehab of an entire block that was done very successfully. So Northeast Brooklyn Housing Development Corporation's role. Our role in the project is a development and workforce consultant, which means that we have been heavily involved in working with Trinity on the development of the project, as well as focusing on workforce opportunities that we feel need to come out of the project. Obviously, I also are Central Brooklyn, 33 years in operation. We have 5,300 units of housing in 5 boroughs, 2,000 square feet of office, retail, and commercial space in Central Brooklyn. And we provide tenant support services, senior housing support programs in Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, We have a great food pantry, we have demonstration kitchens in Bedford, Stuyvesant, and Brownville. Obviously, we teach healthy cooking and also continue to focus on food justice advocacy. Mega Construction is the contractor on the project. They're doing several projects in the central Brooklyn area. And we intend to hold them accountable on our Van Dyke project. And we constantly monitor hiring. Next one. All right, so this is our goals. We have a $24 million WMB hiring goal for the project. And to date, we have struggled to find local WMBs. To date, we have identified 5 WMBs that are eligible to put in bids on the project. We are also monitoring that bid process on a regular basis to make sure that they go through the full process. The goal is in Community Board 16, and of course, Community Boards 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 17, and 18. So our outreach is broad to capture as many of the businesses that we can that are interested in bidding on this project. So this $24 million goal is very important to us, and it's a conversation that occurs on a daily basis. We also have an obligation to do 2% Section 3 businesses, meaning those residents out of Van Dyke that have businesses will participate in the project. This is just for information, links to New York State WMB certification as well as New York State WMB NWB. Jason, want to talk about that?
So we have hiring goals on this project as 50% local hires. Local is defined as anyone residing in Brooklyn, Community Boards 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 16, 17, and 19. 30% Section 3 hires. Section 3 residents are defined as Van Dyke residents, New York City Housing Authority Brooklyn residents, any New York City Housing Authority residents, youthful employees, income qualified local residents in the boroughs defined by HUD as 80% AMI low to 50% of AMI very low. 80% minority or women hires. Hires must be minority and or women. The anticipated timeline, so the start of the trash compactor relocation has already started. The training for the OSHA 30 has already started. The start of the new building construction will begin spring, summer of this year. The jobs that will be available will be trucking, which will be spring of summer this year, concrete, summer of this year, plumbing, carpentry, and electrical will be summer, fall of this year. Finished trades such as flooring, tile, painting, spring 2020, landscaping, spring of 2021, and a new building completion will be summer of 2021. And lastly, this is my contact information. So if you guys do know anyone who is interested, you can give a call or send your resumes to my email. Our role here is to create a demand for jobs. The only way we can make this possible is if we work together with the community to present people for the jobs. Without the people, we cannot display demand for the opportunities that are available. The major key here is community participation. The opportunities are available, so we have to provide the numbers. And when I refer to numbers, I'm referring to individuals. So let's work together so we can be successful in helping our community. Thank you.
I just want to note, OSHA 30 has been a big issue, and so we actually started our first class tonight in the Van Dyke projects. One night, so we have two OSHA 30 trainings in the Van Dyke, and then we're doing a third, which is a community at large training for a larger group of people, up to 40 people. So when we get those dates locked in, we'll let everybody know. All right? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, it is free. Yeah, this is an informational presentation, so will you be around for a little while? A few minutes? Okay, so
thank you, everybody.
If you have any questions, they'll be here for a few minutes. You can please see them in the back of the room or in the hallway. Thank you. And the reason is for the informational presentation, we generally don't have questions, but for the public hearings, we do have questions. So next, we will be having a public hearing and it's coming from the Transportation, Sanitation, and Environment Committee. Introduction will be given by the Chair of the Transportation, Sanitation, and Environment Committee, Mr. Gregory Glasgow.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight you'll hear a presentation from DOT, Department of Transportation. Starting last summer and working through this end of the year, they were doing a community focus. They came around to a number of community board meetings and went to community events to get information from the residents of Community Board 3 about the transportation issues, to look at some ways that they may address those issues. So tonight you're going to have a presentation on the feedback, the research they gained from that, and the information that's going to lead them to make some decisions and to come back to the community board with some plans. This presentation was given to Chairman Plateau and District Manager Butler. Then they made a presentation last month to the Transportation Committee. And your presentation will be done by Mr. Burns. So, turn it over to you.
Before we get to Mr. Burns, my name is Leroy Branch, and I'm the representative representing the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner Keith Gray's office. And as it was said, we are in the process of changing the way we present our plans to community boards. In the past, we would come out after we have put together a plan and then ask your recommendations on a particular plan. So one of the things that we had decided to do at the Department of Transportation is to kind of reverse that a little bit. In other words, come to the community to ask the community what they would like to see or how we could help you in terms of your transportational needs and your transportational issues. And because of that reason, we came up with this plan, and one of the things that I know that I decided to do was they said, which community board should we come to first? And every time I come out here, they always say, we always last. So this time, you're first. This is a pilot program that only happened in Bedford, nowhere else. So we have to make this successful so we can roll this out throughout the city. So basically, it is a deep dive, and Burns will explain exactly what that means, and that this is something that we brought here to Bedford-Stuyvesant to you, so we as DOT can work hand in hand and do what is necessary that the community wants, not only what DOT wants. So I'm gonna hand the mic over to Burns Forsythe, who will tell you all about the program.
Good night. How's everyone?
You're not going to sleep.
As was explained, my name is Burns Forsythe. I work with the Department of Transportation. I work with a public engagement team that works in all 5 boroughs. Specifically, as Mr. Branch explained, we've worked in Bedford the last 5 months on a process of outreach to get a better idea about how people in the community feel about different safety design in terms of what they would like to see, what they wouldn't like to see, also how they're getting from point A to point B. Many of you probably already saw us here. We were attending the last 4 community board meetings at the end of last year. So since that time, we've been processing that information and creating this summary, which basically goes over our findings. If you have one of these, in the back of it, you'll find a palm card that has some information here. At the end, I have a couple of these. I'll be out in the hallway. I can give you some of these if you'd like. My card is also there if you'd like to contact me and talk a little more about it, okay? So I'm going to go through this quickly in the interest of time. I will not be talking about anything in terms of recommendations tonight, but I'm just simply going to go through the process and explain a little bit about the findings. We are meeting with the Transportation Committee next week, so we will have some definitive things to talk about at that time. I'll also touch on what we probably will be discussing a little later in this presentation. Okay, so let's run through this. So we started this in 2017. We met with we got specific requests from the CB, specifically looking at these 4 intersections: Fulton Street, Marcus Garvey, Fulton Street, Tompkins,
Atlantic and Nostrand, and Myrtle Ave and Broadway. The maps that you see are both on the left. It's a Vision Zero map. It just basically talks about this being a priority area in terms of data that tells us about people being killed or severely injured. Where you see red lines means that that's a corridor where there's a high incident of people being killed or severely injured, or a little red dot means that intersection is a high KSI area. To the right is just a map talking about safe streets for seniors. This is a senior pedestrian focus area, meaning that there's a high level of senior population here in terms of seniors both living here and services for seniors. So that is also part of the conversation, and also something that we were looking at. The team that I explained, we have basically a very diverse team of who we say are ambassadors who go out and speak to the public in terms of what are different types of safety interests in terms of transportation. We're a multilingual public engagement specialist team. As I mentioned, we conduct outreach throughout 5 boroughs. This process was based simply in Bedford, Stuyvesant, as well as Ocean Hill, Brownsville. So our process here. So basically, we try to engage people where they are. We go out into the community. When we started this process, we spoke with the community board about what got their insight into the places that we might be able to visit. Just as a starting point, we wanted to visit the major transportation hubs. We went to many of the subway stops that fall within the community board district. We set up these interactive stations that you see here, a little tent, a little sign saying, come and talk to us. We have a couple of giveaways that we gave out to people as an incentive for participating. We asked them to take a short survey, which was fairly comprehensive in talking about the different modes they use. And also the anecdotal part of this is capturing stories from people in terms of their lived experience in the community, getting from point A to point B. In terms of where we are in this process, we began that during, we began the outreach part of this in 2018, going through the summer into December. We've been analyzing that information since that time. And presently, we are presenting this. As was mentioned earlier, we did present to the CD leadership. We also presented to the electeds, and we have presented, we're presenting out to the full board. This process will repeat itself as we present projects out of that process. We have developed projects, we will propose them, install them, observe it, and revisit it again to see how that process is going. Before we began, we notified community leaders in the area in terms of elected. You can see many of them listed here, our president, council members, assembly members, as well as the CB. Our outreach method, we had a couple of different things that were on site when we were out in the field. We had 2 large foam core boards that we had as visual displays, just kind of quickly go through some of the information, the background, some of that I explained earlier, as well as these treatment designs that are on the right, at the right top. We had 6 different designs that we showed. These are things that are used throughout New York City, not specific to Bed-Stuy or Ocean Hill, Brownsville, but things that are other places that could be implemented here. We also have a portal site that's down at the bottom right. Okay. You can go to the next one. This is just our deployment locations. These are the different types of locations we went through: subway stops, community boards, churches, senior centers. Skip the next one. We did about 620 surveys, 31 days out of outreach in total. These are just some of the data information. This will be found also in your books. This, in terms of the relationship to the neighborhood, you can see that there was a large percentage of people who either lived here and also had multiple errands or social life interests in the community as well. This is a comparison of the census data in terms of male to female, race, ethnicity. You can see it was very close in terms of what we saw, both from census data and what we saw through our process. This is commuting, just more data in terms of looking at how people commuted, both inside the community and outside. This is looking at car and access in terms of cars to bike ownership, as well as family and friends in the community who also would use this mode. And then we asked about different places that people would go in terms of, you can see that there is a high percentage in terms of people who are either taking public transit or driving. This is how a level of how people feel in terms of safety. Just wanted to look at if people felt very safe, somewhat safe. So you can see that visual display there. These are the points here that you see are just where people reported problems throughout the community. Larger dots means that more comments were made at that particular intersection. Top safety concerns by far were people failing to yield as well as speeding. Those are the top two concerns that we got consistently through this process. Failure to yield was also something that we visually displayed here, and we mapped those comments as to where they appeared on the map. Speeding vehicles, the same thing. Bus usage, obviously bus usage is very high here. 83% of people here use the bus. And then we also looked at comparing our process in terms of bus ridership and MTA's ridership numbers. So finally, looking at what the different treatments were, the most requested thing we got were leading pedestrian intervals. That's when people, pedestrians are signalized to move before any vehicles at that intersection move. It just makes them more visible, and new crosswalks as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the timeline in terms of conducting research, analyzation, coming back to this process again. All right, so I know I went through that very quickly. We are obviously limited on time, but as I said, I have a couple of the palm cards here, so I can, if you come out, I can give that to you as well. So I can give you the URL. So anybody who does not have a physical copy, you can go to our portal link and you can see the entire thing. Okay?
Okay, this is a public hearing, so if there are any questions from the public, and when you speak, if you can please give your name. Greg, I'm sorry, could you help with the mic? Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Lady over here. I can't hear you. You gotta use the mic.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for hosting this meeting.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Floyd Miller. I'm a longtime Bedford resident. I live on Quincy Street between Marcy and Mill Street. I have a problem with the lady next door tenant that moved in and is running the King S&M Club.
Okay, ma'am, this has to do with the transportation committee here. You'll have a chance to speak a little bit later.
Okay.
These are questions that have to do with the transportation.
Are you looking to remove the 4-day week moving? Like, I move Monday and Thursday on my side, Tuesday, Friday on the other side. Is there any consideration for that, to reduce the other side? No? That's not part of this?
It's actually not part of this, but I can give you a little bit of something that you can go away with. In order for that to happen, it has to happen through the sanitation department, not transportation. Although we're in charge of the signs, the sanitation department makes the decision on how often you have to move. So you should speak with Mr. Butler and talk to him about what the community board is doing and we're trying to get that to make that happen.
Okay, you had a question, sir? You had a question?
How you doing? Okay. Good program you started. I just wish.
Sir, what's your name?
My name is Brother Wayway. How y'all doing? This is a good program y'all talking about. I just wish y'all was here when the community was all messed up. You're coming in with all this stuff now that the community is changing and this and that. So you're a day late and an hour short.
Yes.
Bike lanes.
Hi, my name is Amber Carter. I live on Mason Street. This is my first time coming to this meeting, so I just have a question as relates to express buses. Is that part of your responsibility in terms of adding them into the community?
Yes, along with the MTA.
So I take the A train in the morning, and with the amount of people that have come into the neighborhood over the past 10 years, it's absolutely hectic. And I noticed that within certain communities, they have express buses that go into Manhattan. Is there an opportunity to add one on Fulton Street in Utica or Fulton Street in Alphabet?
We're actually in the process, DOT's in the process of working with MTA to bring to the community what we call bus forwarding. And so when that happens, Mr. Butler will be invited, as well as the transportation committee will become making presentations in terms of that. You should bring that out. And bus forward, just so everybody knows, about express buses. So
When is that? I'm sorry.
this is coming up very, very soon. So we will let Mr. Butler know when that happens, and he can put it out to the community so you can come out to the transportation committee to voice your opinion about it. And he's the chairman right there.
Okay, ma'am?
My name is Renisha Hill. I live on Halsey and Howard. I'm a new resident of New York. And one of my questions was just in observing transporting myself, but I do have a car, I use MTA, bus, and subway, and I also have a bicycle. And when riding my bike, it is actually very hard to ride in the street because I don't know if, I just don't feel safe riding my bike in the street, especially coming from a smaller city like Milwaukee where there's a lot less traffic. So in your program, I was just wondering if there would be any emphasis on kind of teaching people courtesy both ways, bikers being courteous to cars. And are y'all listening?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. As you were speaking, I was asking you a question to answer you. I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I'm heard.
No, you heard.
But courtesy for bikers, 2 automobiles and automobiles, 2 bikers. And also, I just want to make sure that all modes of transportation are represented. So even with walkers, but when you guys are doing these programs, are there people who primarily transport themselves by bike? Because when I'm going places to cut down on like emissions by car, I noticed that especially in Bedford, there's not a lot of bike racks where you can put your bike. So even if I wanted to go somewhere, even if it is like a local bar, anything, there's not anywhere to put a bike, to park your bike, to actually like cut down on the car.
Okay, I think they got the gist of the question, that's to do with bike safety and,
Yeah, pretty much.
okay.
I think very quickly, just to answer your question, I think one of the things that you should do is come to the transportation committee on a regular basis. Because that's where we come, when we make proposals for different things that happen in the community, that's where we will make it. And if you want them to hear you, that's the place that you should come to. You should come to the transportation committee as well as speak with Mr. Butler in terms of getting more bike safety here in Bed-Stuy.
You got a question over here?
Hi, good evening. Sorry, just before the next question, I did want to mention one thing. Like, when we had the last meeting with the Transportation Committee, one of the specific things that was requested was that we look at Myrtle and Broadway. As you know, that was one of the original requests that was made by the CP. We have been looking at that for a while, this process, and we did outreach, just help sharpen that lens a little more. So I will tell you that when we do meet with the Transportation Committee next week, that will be the project that we will be discussing. It will be Myrtle and Broadway. Okay, so just to let you know.
Hi, good evening, Bob Smith. That's 2 issues. I know that having spoken to you before, one of the issues that you deal with is the issue of car pedestrian interaction, people getting hit and or killed. And I just wanted to ask you, is there any initiative on the part of your committee or others of addressing this phenomenon of pedestrians challenging motor vehicles for the right of way in the street? Anybody who knows anything about physics knows that that's a stupid way to go. I mean, I've been in many situations where pedestrians will see you coming, look at you straight in the face, and cross their street. That's, you know, that's an issue that really needs to be addressed. And I'm not quite sure what the answer, that's my first.
Well, first of all, we at DOT do have safety programs that we bring into the schools, as well as senior citizen centers to help them understand what it is to be safe on our streets, what it is, how to cross, how not to look at your cell phone and walk across the street, and to address that specific thing about challenging not only cars, but trucks as well. I don't know who's courageous enough to challenge a truck, but there are some people who do. So there are programs that we have and that we go into the schools as well as different other organizations. If you have an organization that you would like us to come and do some type of safety education, by all means, let me know and we can get our safety team out there.
And the second question has to do with something that is just very recent, and you quite frankly did not address. That is this issue of congestion pricing and what that is going to mean both to drivers and to people who use public transportation. So I don't think that people understand the full implications of what that is going to entail down the road. And I mean, I would like to ask, once the legislation is clear, that you come back and give us a real primer on that issue.
Right, and you're 100% right. It was the legislator who actually come up with the ideas of congestion pricing, and whatever they vote into law is how we have to carry it out. So once we get those directives, no problem, we can definitely come back and tell you how that's going to be.
You got a question over here?
Hi, my name is Deborah Lamb. One of my pet peeves as a driver is actually having motorbikes and the electric bicycles adhere to transportation rules, such as not coming down one-way streets, such as not going through red lights. How closely are you working with the Office of the Police Department, actually, on putting in place rules for accountability?
Well, we work very closely with the NYPD. Let me say this, the rules are already there. They just have to be enforced. But they're there. We will bring, if you have specific locations that you have that, we can bring that definitely to NYPD. Unfortunately, we don't have enforcement powers, so there's nothing we can do in terms of enforcement. All we can do is educate or change or implement some different projects that will help with that situation. But basically, that is an enforcement issue that's with the NYPD.
But couldn't signage be placed so that there is awareness that those vehicles must adhere to the rules of transportation?
I'll say it this way. I don't know anybody who does not know going down the wrong way on the one-way street. They don't know that. They know that. They do it anyway. So I don't think putting up a sign that says you can't go down a one-way street is going to change behavior. And we have so many signs in New York City that if we keep inundating our streets with more signs, people are just not going to pay attention to it. So I think what it becomes is more, as this gentleman was saying, we got to try to educate everybody to the rules of the road and enforce what needs to be enforced. And that's the best way to go about doing it.
Okay, last question.
Hello, my name is Tina Evans, I'm on the board. I have two questions. Now, I see that you said here that something's going to happen on Myrtle Avenue and Broadway. What I want to know are, does this entail some plans to make sure that there's lighting, sufficient lighting under the train station, that the cross path as you're going, that the roller bits, the potholes under there is tremendous for both drivers and bikers, and then 12 p.m. is like midnight under that train station. So even though you have something to improve the streets, that is just, it needs adequate lighting And also, if you can elaborate what does Safe Streets for Seniors actually mean? I'm also part of the seniors committee, and that is just not clear to me. Does that include having timers? Does that include having stickers where the sound goes when you're crossing the street for those who might be visually impaired? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, let me just say from this perspective, we don't have enough time to talk about that, but the things that you were saying, yes, it does include things of that nature. Basically, what we want to do is we want to come into the community and find out what are the things that you need. So if you wanted those LPIs which we put at the corners, if you want the sound, audible sound, so people can hear them as they walk across the street, those are the things that we're going to be talking about at the Transportation Committee next month. Okay, so I think what should come out of this evening is that in order for you to get involved, in order for your voice to be heard, you should come out to those meetings so we can have an open discussion about what the needs of Bushwick are. Best I'm sorry, Best-Eye, Brownsville, Ocean Hill. Let me get it correct, sorry about that. So that would be the best thing, but yes, some of those things that you're talking about.
But
Yes.
it's lighting also.
Okay, lighting is a part of DOT. There's a nuance to what you're talking about. Unfortunately, that's an MTA structure. So in order for us to put lights on there, we would have to get permission from MTA, which is a state organization. So yes, you can come out, we can talk about that, and if we can ask the MTA if they would allow us to put lights under there. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's not our property, it's the MTA's. So that's just something that we would have to do a discussion. Oh, that will be taken care of. That's the easy thing.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to close out the public hearing. I just wanted to thank the entire team for the Department of Transportation for their presentation on the research that they've done on transportation issues in Bedford. We're going to move on to community announcements, and if you could please be ready in this order and keep your remarks to 2 minutes, please. Amber Carter, Natalie Barrett, Nathan Oliver, Catherine Jackson. Okay, is Amber Carter here? Natalie Barrett.
Good evening, I'm Natalie. I'm the outreach coordinator for Make Music New York. And I came tonight to talk to you about the events that we're going to do in Bed-Stuy. We have 3 special projects that we're very excited about. We're bringing classical music to the community gardens all around Bed-Stuy on June 21st in the afternoon. We'll also have world music concerts in specific restaurants. So we want to have a lineup of the different cultures that live in Bed-Stuy. So we'll have West African music, we'll have Jamaican music, Indian music, and all distributed in specific restaurants that would pair nicely with it. And we'll have a party at King Park in the evening on June 21st. I'm actually looking for help for the party at King Park because the recreation center is closed, so I've been having a hard time teaming up for that. So if anybody is interested in putting together the party for Make Music New York at King Park, you can call me during business hours, and my number is 718-737-2210. 718-737-2210. I'm Natalie, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Okay, Nathan Oliver from Fight New York here, followed by Catherine Jackson, followed by Stephen Henry, followed by Valerie Jones.
Good evening. I'm here mainly because the first Sunday of May, May 5th, is the annual 5-borough bike tour. The tour will not be coming through this community board directly, but there will be rolling street closures throughout the day, including the BQE in the afternoon. So that is something to be aware of and to plan accordingly. The great thing about the 5-borough bike tour is that it is the main fundraiser for Bike New York, and it allows us to offer free, I want to repeat, free classes related to biking. We have learn to ride classes for children and adults, so it's never too late to learn how to ride a bike, and Bike New York can help you do that, as well as street skills that you would need to ride safely and follow the rules of the road, like we were talking about earlier. We can help out with any of that education, and we would be happy to work with any groups, or you can sign up as individuals. I have information about volunteering with Bike New York or the locations for all of our education centers. So if you have any questions about any of that, I'm going to stand out in the hallway for a little bit if anyone would like to come and get some more information.
Okay, thank you. Is Catherine Jackson here? Stephen Henry?
Yeah.
Is Valerie Joseph coming up here?
Yes.
Greg, you know you can, man.
Okay. So, my name is Stefan Henry. I'm from an organization called New York Connect. And basically what we do is we help people get services that they need by giving them information that they need for free. We're a nonprofit organization. You do not have to pay for this information. If you need anything in terms of like getting healthcare services, like signing up for Medicaid, signing up for Medicare, we will help you go through that process for free. If you need home health aides, we will help you go through that process for free. If you need help getting education assistance, occupational skills, basically we'll help you get all the information you need to get through everything you need for free. We also help with housing in terms of signing up for the unconditional transition diversion waiver or any sort of waiver program that you think that you may qualify for. So we have pamphlets on the front. If you call the 844 number on the back of the pamphlet, we will help you out for free. So,
thank you.
What's the name of your organization again?
New York Connects, NY Connects. Yes.
NY Connect.
Yes, and if any of you guys know any way that we can reach more people, if there's more events that we can come to, we would love to link up with any of you and come to that.
Can you repeat the number? 844.
Oh, I don't know it that well off the top of my head, but it's definitely in the pamphlets in the front, big and purple. Yes.
Yes, that's it.
Could you repeat the name of your organization?
New York.
New York Connects, and the number is 1-844-862-7930. I'll repeat, 1-844-862-7930, and New York Connects, as you see it. So. Now, for my friend Valerie, who works in the same organization.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Joseph. I'm the accessory right advocate for Brooklyn Center for the Independence of the Disabled. I am the accessory right advocate for all of Brooklyn.
You got juice.
Oh, yeah. I also come from the Brooklyn Center for the Independence of the Disabled, where we give out free information and services for people with disabilities. We give out housing information, benefits, entitlement, which benefits means food stamps, Medicaid, Social Security benefits, and more. And our number there is 718-998-3000. Again, I will repeat, 718-998-3000.
3,000. Thank you very much and have a nice evening.
You're also a New York Connect?
No, I'm from the Brooklyn Center for the Independence of the Disabled. Stefan works with us in our office.
Brooklyn Center for?
The Independence of the Disabled.
For the Independence
BCID.
of the Disabled.
Yes,
Okay.
BCID. That's the Independent Living Center of Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Lori Davis Hutchinson, followed by Olivia Buell, followed by Lori Miller, followed by Brother Ray Ray, followed by Georgia.
Hi, y'all. Good evening. I am Lori Ayers Hutchinson. I am currently the president of the Brooklyn Club of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club. We are about to celebrate our 52nd Founders Day, and there are some familiar names that we are honoring. So listen up. We are giving the Business Awards to Karen Valentine, owner of the Allstate Agency on Fulton Street. Community Services to Alice Barnes, who's been teaching financial literacy at Mount Lebanon Baptist Church to everyday people. You need to check her out. She's helping people get their life right. Our Ecumenical Award is going to Reverend Sean Lee of Mount Lebanon. Our professional award is going to Deborah Jones, right here from Restoration. Make sure the room is set up for your meetings. Make sure that your room is set up for your parties. And we have to recognize her and honor her because she's always taking care of us. We are also honoring, this name sounds familiar, Babatunde Akode, our man of distinction, and our Sojourner Truth, a woman whose life reflects that of Sojourner Truth, which is the highest award given by this association, goes to Barbara Bates Glover. If you don't know her from the 79th Precinct Council, you know her from her block association, you know her from her church, you know her from the community. She has been an advocate and a supporter for so many, and we want to make sure that we celebrate her. If you are interested in tickets or advertisements or just to wish them well, make sure you reach out to these people, buy a ticket from them, support us. We are giving out 6 scholarships this year. I am so proud of them. If you're a member of the Brooklyn Club, I know I see 2 sisters in the room. That's Parkinson, raise your hand. You can see any of us for tickets, and of course our honorees as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Lori. Is Olivia Buell here? We followed by Lori Miller, Brother Ray Ray, and then Georgia.
Good evening, everyone. It's actually Olivia Ely. Sorry if my handwriting is a little. I'm here representing Kings County Tennis League, and it's a nonprofit that's based here in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy, and it's been around for 7 years now. And we focus on youth development by teaching children how to play tennis from ages 6 to 16. And we do it in the Bed-Stuy housing developments. So we have sites at Marcy, we've got sites at Sumner and Tompkins and a few others as well. And so this, in a few weeks' time, we are hosting a Sip and Learn, and that's gonna be on Thursday, April 18th. And what we wanna do is invite more of the community to learn more about what we're doing, what our plans are for 2019, and also to see if we can get more volunteers to help with this. It's free programming for children 6 to 16 years old. So that's really why I'm here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ages 6 to 16. Oh, sorry, Thursday, April 18th at Bosquier's Bottle.
Thank you.
Lori, did you leave your bag?
Yes, I did. I'm not done.
Okay. Lori Miller, are you speaking?
Sorry. Good evening. As I said before, I'm Lori Miller of Quincy Street between Marcy and Nostrand. I'm glad to hear all the good things that's happening in Bed-Stuy. I haven't participated with this community board since the crackdown. Sorry I dropped out, but I'm back. I just want the community to know what's coming into our area, good, bad, and indifferent.
right next door to me, a female rented it and is running a kink S&M club. Beryl Nyack and Mr. Butler have been great in telling me who to call and how to get information out, and they've been advocating on our behalf of the 79th precinct. They keep saying she's leaving, but she's still there. Last night they were in front of my house. Lori, the sex cop, you need to go. I've been in this community for over 40 years, I'm not going anywhere. My other issue I talked about with the alternate side street, I'll be at that meeting next Tuesday. Mr. Butler told me it's like a 2-year process to lower our moving our cars 2 days a week, 4 days a week to 2 days a week. A lot of other communities just move their car 1 day a week, and I think that we should be afforded that also. My last concern is I have young kids, grandkids. Boy, if I had young kids, that's crazy. But have everybody been keeping up with the measles outbreak that's coming into Bed-Stuy? This weather is where we're getting sick, the elderly and the young, and we need to be kept abreast of what's going on and how it's contained. People don't vaccinate their kids. It was eradicated in 2000, and then here we are revisiting these diseases again. It's going to get more prevalent, and we need to be aware how it's being contained and how we can stop it from spreading. So that's.
Thank you very much. Brother Ray Ray.
How y'all doing? Only got a couple of minutes. First of all, I want to thank Al Van for keeping his mouth quiet and opening up the doors for the destruction of this community and gentrification. You could give him a big hand to keep his mouth quiet. Number 2, Matthew Gibson, pastor of the church on Howard between Herkimer and Atlanta, has been raping his daughter. The community should know about it. The next court date is May 27th. Nobody has been there to help this young lady. Nobody. With all these churches in Bed-Stuy, they talking about they believe in God. Somebody needs to be, the community needs to be there for her. And these give her some services so she can talk about what's going on. So she can feel and talk about, so she can get out of the muck and mire. You black folks ain't never been able to get out of what was done to us. Never been able to talk. Number 2, Brother Chanel Lewis has been charged, and you know he didn't do that to that girl. I've been going to the court case out in Kew Gardens, Queens. They're getting ready to come down with the verdict. Sad thing is that on the right side of the court, every Italian in Howard Beach is there. And on the left side of the courtroom, nobody. And the lady is just devastated on how they're running up charges. And that's one of the reasons why I always say, I wish Alton Maddox was here, because he would have ripped a hole in that case. I just want y'all to know, come out, court date 27th, for Matthew Gibson, the bum, and Chanel Lewis, that brother is lost in space. And they busted his head already in jail. And nobody's been there to help him while everybody's singing praises. Wake up.
Thank you, Brother Ray Ray. Georgia Murphy here.
Hi, my name is Georgia Murphy. I have an organization called Challenges to Victory, which will be dealing with the dysfunctional family that we need to address an issue that are going on in today's society issue. And one of the solution would be turning the negative into a positive by theatrical performances. So later on, we'll be developing a talk show, so I want to start by having workshops in PS 256 Richmond Banneker School on child safety, because we have a lot of predators and perverts and pedophiles in the community. And we want to keep our children safe, and we're going to have it on Wednesday, April 17th at 8:30 to 9:30. Location is PS 256, room B10. And for more information, contact Ms. Henry at the school. We have 5. Anybody?
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to move on to our roll call.
Babatunde Akwe. Felicia Alexander.
Present.
Taiwan Anthony. Monique Antoine.
Thank you.
Dr. Kim Best. Anthony Roosevelt. Michael Catlin.
Present.
Ivy Gamble Cobb. Evelyn Collier is excused. Pastor Gwendolyn Fingal. Taina Evans.
Here.
Mark Casal. Richard Plateau.
Here.
Sharon Forbes.
Here.
Keith Forrest.
Here.
Gregory Glasgow. He is here, right?
He's here.
Shea Greenfeld. Mary Jameson Head. Abby Robinson Hobson.
Present.
Oma Holloway.
Present.
Everett Hughes. Everett Hughes. Therese Uriarte.
Here.
Edna Johnson.
Present.
Dr. Curly Johnson.
Present.
Dr. Deborah Lamb. Mary Little. Dionisio Liz. Barney Joe Long. Debbie Matthews.
Present.
Kenneth Embuno.
Present.
Ellen Miller.
Here.
Aldika Murray. Melissa Platter Norman.
Present.
Claypool Payton.
Present.
Satina Payton.
Present.
Simone Pratt.
I'm here.
C. Doris Penn. Here. Karen Rao. Carolyn Richburg.
Present.
Stacy Ruffin. Here. Suzette Shepherd.
Here.
Jamela Swift is excused. Chinyalu Udo.
Present.
Reverend Dr. Robert Waterman.
Present.
Doug Williams.
Present.
T.J. Wilson.
Okay, while the secretaries, see if we have a form, we're gonna move to the, bylaws report and vote. This is a very important matter. The committee's been working on this for probably about a year. And, this should be the final report that we hear on the bylaws, and, we should be taking a vote this evening. So, the chair for the bylaws committee, Mr. Poirier, will, give his presentation and recommendation.
Good evening, board. My name is Bobby Tunde, operator of the Bylaws Committee. As you all well know, that the Bylaws Committee has been meeting on this issue presently for almost a year. On January 7, 2019, we sent the board out a mock-up of track changes, and then following that, throughout every other community board meeting leading up to the March 4, 2019 meeting, we had presentations on the proposal. The current members on the board are Taina Evans, Dr. Deborah Lamb, Henry Butler, Chair Plateau, Karen Rao, and myself. Our precedents in regards to this issue, we looked at the New York City Charter, the Brooklyn Borough President, other community boards, and other New York City agencies as a reference on how we can shape our bylaws. The changes are extensive in substance and in form, so I'll be brief in regards to how things go. But everybody on the board should have in front of them a mock-up with highlighted changes. Yes, yes. And it shouldn't be any new because we talked about these issues prior, so I want you to follow along, please. Everybody on the board should have it. The proposed bylaws. Electronically, it was sent out to the board since January 7th. And at every board meeting since, we talked about these briefly. And at the last board meeting, my vice chair talked about it extensively. So I will move forward accordingly. First at issue is the proposed preferred mode of communication in regards to meeting notice. In essence, now we only have snail mail through the postal service. The preferred method would allow us to use fax, email, and hard copy to give each member an option of that as to how we want to proceed. Secondly, the nominating committee. And this goes to the election of executive board members, and it outlines the October, November, and December dates upon which somebody is elected to a position. So if you look at A, a nominating committee, October, the formation of a nominating committee, it will consist of 7 members. And then in November, they will serve for 6 meetings. In December, the committee shall meet as often as possible and conduct the business, and then moves forward. In regards to voting, B, and the voting changes from a majority to a plurality. That means that, in essence, when no candidate receives a majority of the vote, it will be a runoff election, and the 2 leading candidates will do a runoff essentially, and the person with the most votes at that time will serve. Moving forward to vacancies of a special election for second vice chair, treasurer, or executive secretary. The bylaw currently speaks to the president and first vice chair in our bylaws currently. So this deals with special election.
Chair.
Yes, the chair and the first vice chair, excuse me. Moving forward, it is the addition of the Landmarks Committee on Section 9. Currently, Landmarks is an ad hoc committee. They will be a full standing committee upon review of this. And then it deals with membership, public membership of people who aren't on the board. So it sets the criteria for public members and how they are voting in regards to these subcommittee meetings. Moving forward, there were some minor changes in form as we relate to public agencies and how the wording for civic and public safety, the transportation, sanitation, and environmental committees, housing and land use committees on page 12. On page 13, there was another form. And then finally, at the bottom of page 13, the Landmarks Committee and their prescribed duties. As to 14, there was another form change. And then finally, there was a personnel change in regards to at-will employees as it relates to the rules and regulations of the city of New York. In short, because I didn't have time to flesh out everything, you can read these, but in essence, my recommendation is that all changes to the revised bylaws be approved. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to add, I'm not sure, did you have Dr. Lambert?
Yes, yes.
You had her done?
Yes, yes.
Okay, she also did a lot of work on this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're gonna take any questions from the board members on the amendments to the bylaws. Okay. So, I guess maybe I'll take a motion and then we can have any discussion on the motion. Is there a motion on the recommendation? Yes. Okay, so motion to accept the recommendation of the bylaws committee was moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Yes, Dr. Warren.
On page 14. If a member fails to cast a vote on all matters before the board, then they shall be marked.
Can you speak in the mic, please, so we have that in the record? The question, comment.
Page 14. Section 10A4. If a member fails to cast a vote on all matters before the board, then they shall be marked absent. That's not safe. Where'd you get that?
Great question. So, well, the committee felt that there has been a rash of members who have shown up to meetings and then have left the public meeting without concluding the business of the meeting. So there are people who have been at the meeting and then had their attendance taken, and then from that have left the meeting. In my humble opinion, the purpose of the meeting, and I'm glad you caught that, Dr. Woodman, is because people have been leaving the meeting and not doing the business of the meeting in regards to voting in their fiduciary duties to the community.
And you used the word that the members felt.
Failed.
Oh, no, you said the members felt that members were leaving. What way do we get it from law perspective that indicates that if I don't vote on something, if alcohol is going to be pushed on the community 24/7 at every meeting, and I say no, if I say I'm just tired, I'm not even voting on it any longer, then if I say I just don't want to vote on it any longer, then you say that my 3.5 hours to 4 hours that I've been here is wasted.
Okay, so we'll have the parliamentarian address that, but I think the chair of the committee also has something to say.
Well, the only thing I want to say, I understand your sentiments, Dr. Woodman, but the charter requires that you vote. It states in the charter that you cannot say that your president did not vote. You cannot not vote. That the committee members, the community board members are required to vote.
But the charter did not say that you're absent.
If you don't vote, you're
Did the
required
charter
to
say
vote.
that? No.
You're
I know we're
required
required to vote, but does the charter state that if you don't vote, you will be marked absent?
Well, I'll just say something from a practical standpoint also. If people start leaving before we complete all our votes, we risk the danger of not having a quorum, in which case, nothing that we would vote on after that point would be valid. So that's the other practical issue.
Even in the practical issue of understanding that there is a time limit on everything that we do. And if we're not considerate of the people who are coming to volunteer their time to take care of the business, then we as the chair and those who are in the executive committee have failed to even acknowledge the members around the table. To keep quorum, you have to actually have a decent agenda that speaks to time. And we're not even going according to time, then you're saying for a father or a mother who's at home, who's got a babysitter, sitting waiting for their children to get home, that we're not considering them. I just need you to just think about the humane piece of volunteers that are on the board.
And if you notice, I also try to impose time limits on people, especially, we have 2 minutes or whatever. I do try to respect people's time. I think the chair of the committee may have something else.
You got a question.
So Dr. Waterman, the spirit of the vote is that we want to conduct our business in a timely manner, and we want to function as a cohesive board, and that can't happen if we don't have a quorum. I understand your sentiments, and even a proxy may be something that can be looked at, but as moving forward, I looked at other community boards, I looked to the local borough president, I even looked at the charter. For us to conduct the quorum, for us to conduct our business, we need people here present and just willing to do their duty as board members. And that's why it was phrased like that from the board's perspective.
Okay, we got another question.
Chimello, board member, just to kind of follow up on that issue. I too also have some concerns about that particular requirement within the bylaws. Let me just first say, I do want to congratulate and commend the hard work of the bylaws committee. I know it is a big effort, so I personally just appreciate the work that the bylaws committee has done. However, my concerns are, focused on, again, that the issue about marking individuals absent. I know that there have been multiple discussions and conversations and concerns regarding how to maintain a level of quorum within the board so that the business can be conducted. I thought that some of the discussions, which I don't really see in the bylaws, but I thought some of the discussions focused on, one, having roll call taken at a later time. Two, the proxy discussion, which I don't see, again, in the bylaws here. And three, a discussion about having some type of regimented agenda where it's not overloaded on a monthly basis with 6 or 7 different SLA matters or whatnot. I'm just talking about things that are evident out of the community boards and other districts and how they handle things to make sure that people are available and present and at all times. But yes, I too am concerned about being marked absent, and people have been here for 3.5, 4 hours at a time, and because they don't vote on one particular matter, that they will be automatically now deemed absent. I do think that perhaps there may be a little bit of a better way to address that.
Yes. So your point is duly noted, but again, based on the current format, and I have undertook this position at the beginning of the year and have meetings throughout the year, and had special meetings and have given people notice to comment on our proposed revisions constantly. This thing has been sent out and vetted and sent to other bodies and vetted. And I understand your point, but the current format needs to be changed.
I don't think there's disagreement about the need to change it. I think the concern is the direction and how it's getting changed.
So, but that's a larger issue, and we have a vote on.
Talk on the mic, please.
Okay, so
I think
let
we're
the
having
parliamentarian
discussion.
speak, and then we got a couple of points over.
Yeah,
Right.
Ms.
because
Jones.
the question was asked and it wasn't answered, so I'll answer. The charter states, certain things that the board members have to be present for. They have to be present for public hearings. They have to be, that's in the public. We have a public section of our meeting, and we have a business section of the meeting. And you're required to be at the business section of the meeting. You're required to be at, as I said before, public hearings, and the section of the board meeting where the community speaks, you're required to be at that portion of the meeting. The charter says that you must vote, and it specifically says that you cannot be present and not vote. So if you do not vote, then you are not present. That's what it says in the charter.
You got Ms. Jones.
Okay, I just wanted to say something briefly about SLA applications. I heard it mentioned several times, and then we're gonna take some questions over here. With the SLA applications, there's a time limit. So if we don't have the hearings, then that means we will not have any input on those SOA applications. So unfortunately, when there are businesses that have those applications, if we're gonna have any input, we have to have those 45 days. Okay, 45 day time. Yeah.
Hi, this is Abby. I think I'm hearing the responses in regards to this, people saying that they missed April. But if I'm understanding this correctly, it says if you fail to vote on all matters, am I correct, Opportunity, by saying all matters in a given meeting?
Correct.
So that means that if there were 3 things to vote on hypothetically, and you voted on 2 and not 1, this would not apply, you would not be marked absent, correct?
Correct.
So what people are discussing are, in my opinion, not relevant to this, because what you're saying, everyone, is if you miss a vote, but this says if you miss all votes for the evening, correct?
If you fail to cast a vote on all matters.
On all matters. So all matters, so there were 3 things to discuss in my hypothetical. Right, and what people are responding is saying that if they sat here for 3 or 4 hours and they missed a vote, but that's not what this says. It doesn't say if you miss a vote, it says if you miss all matters. That's why I'm asking, am I correct in that understanding? He just said that was correct. Right, if you fail to cast a vote on all matters, what you guys are saying, if you sat here for 3 or 4 hours and you missed a matter.
Right,
But
but
that
all
is not what this is saying.
all would mean you would have to vote on all 3. All encompasses
So
everything.
that's why I'm clarifying with Baba Tunde. In my hypothetical example, once again, I will repeat, if there were 3 matters to vote on for the evening and you missed 1, would you be marked absent? And my question is yes or no? I'm asking, I don't know the answer. Is the answer yes or no?
Yes.
The language is clear, it's one maximum.
I think there's a yes or no to my question.
Her answer, please.
If you miss all matters at the states.
Right, but please answer it in the context of my question. I'm agreeing with you in my understanding. If there were 3 matters to be voted on in a given evening, and you voted on 2, and then you somehow left and did not vote on that 3rd one, would you be marked absent? My question is yes or no?
No.
Yes. No, she said no. It does, to me it does. To me it does. It says all matters, and everyone is understanding that there's a matter. That's why I wanted to clarify that. So based on that, now you guys can respond, because now I think we have a better understanding.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I'm still not clear, because as I read it, if a member fails to cast a vote on all matters, meaning all 3 of the votes on that night before the board, then they shall be marked absent by the
Right, but if
secretary.
you vote 2 out of 3, then you're not absent.
But that's not what the language says to me. All is encompassing all 3 votes. So there is no leeway. I'm waiting for the interpretation, because that's how I read it. All encompasses all 3 votes, not that you voted on 1 or 2 matters.
Mr. Chairman, I think we are missing,
Hold on.
I think we're missing the point on all. That is the problem that we're having here. Because if you're saying you can vote 2 out of 3, that's not all. That's not all. Now, so you got to clarify what we are meaning by all. Because I go back to Dr. Waterman, what he said, you know he's going to vote no on all liquor license. So you got 4 liquor licenses on the board, on the agenda, and you got 2 more things that he can vote on. If he vote on those 2 things, and if he vote on one of them, and he decides to leave after here for 3 hours, then he shouldn't be marked absent because he doesn't vote on liquor license, period.
So, now let me respond. Let me respond to you. A no is a vote, an abstention is a vote. No is a vote, an abstention is a vote. That is a vote.
So he would be bumped down.
No.
Okay, so can I just speak to maybe one of the things that's obvious that we're all kind of overlooking just a little bit?
Let him speak.
All right, so it also seems that if you're here for roll call, the way the format and agenda is now laid out, you're present for roll call, you vote, your obligation, your judicial responsibility is, how do you then get marked absent? So is there some way that we can flip the format that roll call, for example, that you make sure that's included in the voting process? Right, so then that nullifies and then negates discussion of who's present, who's absent, based on the statutory format of where the roll call is placed, and that will very quickly address this decision to straighten this whole thing out.
That's you got 3 questions.
Okay, we voted and changed the roll call, I'm gonna have the parliamentary in a second.
Hello? Yeah.
Okay. Suppose, rather than saying all 3 or all matters, if a person is here and they vote on any matter, then you know they were here and they stayed around for a vote and then left. So if the word all was changed to any, would that help? To make things clear, the language was stated in a way to make people, encourage people to have their voices counted and conduct the business of the board. With that being said, I can't make that recommendation to change without going back to the board. And we have sat on this since January, and everybody's had notice on this.
Okay, we got, okay, so I'm gonna, Felicia Alexander had a hand up for a long time, Mr. Bono, and then I think I got one over here. Okay?
Okay,
Ms. Alexander.
so here's what it boils down to, because we're talking about our time and how long we sit here. When we signed up, we know first Monday of the month, this is where we're supposed to be and what we have to do. I have 4 kids, I have a husband, but I know that on the first Monday, I'm supposed to be here to vote and conduct business. So it's not right for some people to sit here for 4 hours and go through the vote where others get up and leave because their time has been used and they're like, okay, I'm done, I'm leaving, and that's it. Where the ones who take the commitment seriously sit here and go through the whole motion. When we signed up, when we acted and put in our application, that is what we're signing up for, to sit here for however long to cast our votes and speak for the community. So we're sitting here arguing about what is in our time and this and that. First Monday of the month, don't make no plans. You're gonna be here half the night listening to 15-minute SLA licenses, this and that, and then the rest of the month you're free. But Monday, this is where we are. This is what we signed up for.
We got about 6 or 7 more speakers, so Mr. Busaret, Mr. Bono, Dr. Lamb.
Thank you, Richard.
Mr. Busaret.
All right.
Excuse me, Mr. Busaret, he was supposed to be. He's in the corner. You got a mic, Mr. Busaret?
I feel like this recommendation is a solution for a perceived problem
But we don't necessarily need this issue, there's an organization in the bylaw, which is removal of members. Let this be removed for cause by the executive, recommendation of the executive committee or the board chairperson.
Can everyone hear him? Can you talk a little bit louder?
If this issue is a chronic problem for a member, then the executive committee and or the chairperson should seek that member's removal. This seems like a backhanded way to get there. And we should just be upfront and say, hey, you're not casting votes as you're required to do by the city charter. We're gonna seek your removal at the next board meeting. I feel like we don't need another solution for an issue that's perceived when we know we already have one that exists in the bylaws under the state.
Duly noted, but again, I sat in the meetings and the essence was, if you are engaged to do the business of the board, you're absent.
Okay,
Mr. McCall.
yeah, first of all, does the charter allow us to vote by proxy?
No, it specifically states no vote
No,
by
okay,
proxy.
all right, okay, so, fine. I mean, my own take here is, if you are not present to vote on all, what I read here, on all matters, means if there are 3 topics we're supposed to vote on, and you don't vote on any of the 3, you are absent. If you vote on 2, you vote on 1, you vote on half, you are present. If you don't vote on any, you are absent. That's how I read this. Thank you.
So there are different definitions for any and all. There are different definitions for any and all.
Okay, Dr. Lamb and Mrs. Glasgow.
I would like to recommend the following
Quiet,
change.
please.
As a member of this bylaws committee, I would like to recommend the following changes. Change to number 3 first. Vote on matters before the board. Take out all in number 3. In number 4, it shall state, if a member fails to cast a vote on any matter before the board, then they shall be marked absent. So there are 2 changes. The first one, remove all in number 3, and in number 4, change all to any, and remove the S from matters. Period.
In respect to the committee, we appreciate the work and the time that you've done. And we understand the time commitment that we all put in to be here on the 1st of the month, be to the executive committee meetings, be to our committee meetings. But you need to understand that sometimes there are things that people need to take care of after 3 or 4 hours. So for someone to sit here and vote on 2 or out of 3 items and to be marked absent, I think that's a travesty. Because you're telling us that, oh, all your time that you spent was for nothing. And that is not what we're here for. Because you did put in the time and the energy to be here. Now, if you go on any committee of a large group, you know that the quorum has always been here. We have not had an issue where there was not a quorum. To me, this seems punitive to try to micromanage people who may have different agendas, may have to leave at different times. And I think as a community, we need to be understanding that the 50 people in here have different things going on in their lives, And if they come to the meeting and vote on 2 out of 3 issues, they were in attendance at that meeting.
Duly noted, so what I will do, I will focus with my committee and see if those changes are acceptable.
Amen.
So we're gonna go on now table this, we're gonna go.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is there a motion to table to the office?
No, there's no motion yet. There's a motion on the floor.
It was a recommendation.
There's a motion to accept the recommendation.
Mrs. Deborah, I placed it in the form of a proposal. I would like to change it to a motion. All right? I motion that the changes that I discussed, number 3, take out all. Number 4, change all to any and remove the S from matters, which is concurrent with what you said. If you do any voting, 1 out of 3, it doesn't matter. It's about any versus all.
So
Okay.
Second.
We have a parliamentary issue because we already have a motion on the floor. So I'm not sure if you can vote on an amendment, to the motion if you haven't voted on the underlying motion yet, so.
Table the first motion.
We got 2 motions on the floor right now.
Table the first one.
You can only have 1 motion on the floor at a time.
And then
If it goes down. Okay, so I think there's 2 things we can do at this point. Either we would have to have a vote on the first motion that's on the floor, or the maker of the motion could accept a friendly amendment, and then we would vote on the amended motion. So if you don't accept a friendly amendment, then we just will be taking a vote on the first motion, which was the recommendation.
And since the maker of the motion, he's not here.
Thank
I would second it. So,
Okay, so we can't, I don't think we can do it.
So what you said, so let's just be clear. So what you're saying is, we would need to vote down the first motion.
Correct.
And then allow the committee to make these changes, we vote on it. Otherwise, if we vote on the first motion, and it's approved.
Speak into the mic.
What you're saying is, we would have to approve the first motion, and we would have to vote it down in order to allow the bylaws committee to make any changes based on the feedback they got, or to accept the second motion.
No, that is not complimentary motion. Cannot vote it down.
Well, why didn't you vote it? The motion didn't.
The motion wasn't voted on yet.
But our parliamentarian is saying we can't table it. Can we table the first motion?
Can't table the first
Who
Who made the original motion?
made the motion?
She left.
Oh, she's absent.
That's what the problem is.
You take attendance?
Okay, so, I'm gonna, unless there's any other discussion or call the question, we're gonna have a vote. The motion was to accept the recommendation of the bylaws committee, which is as stated, as is, so we'll just vote up or down on that motion.
I didn't quite understand. You say as is, it's already read.
We're voting on the recommendation of the bylaws committee, which is either a yes or no vote on the amendments as stated, as is.
Dr. Waterman, no. Affirmative.
Alicia Alexander.
Yes.
Oni Antoine.
No.
Dr. Kim Best.
No.
Anthony Guzera.
No.
Michael Catlin.
No.
Pastor Gwendolyn Daigle. Taina Evans.
No.
Mark Fasell.
No.
Richard Plateau.
Yes.
Sharon Forbes.
No.
Keith Forrest.
No.
Gregory Glasgow.
No.
Shia Greenfeld.
No.
Abby Robinson Hobson.
No.
Oma Holloway.
Yes.
Denise Iriarte.
No.
Edna Johnson, she left the building, right? Excuse me, Dr. Curly Johnson?
No.
Dr. Deborah Lamb?
Abstain.
Marion Little? Hardy Joe Long? Hardy Joe Long?
No.
Debbie Matthews?
No.
Kenneth Mbono?
No.
Ellen Miller?
No.
Melissa Plowden Norman?
No.
Baker Payton?
No.
Satina Payton?
No.
Simone Pratt?
No.
C. Doris Penn?
Yes.
Carolyn Richburg? Carolyn Richburg?
She left.
She left early. Stacy Ruffin? No. Suzette Shepherd?
No.
Shinyoshi Joe?
No.
Reverend Dr. Robert Waterman?
No.
Doug Williams?
What's the information? What is the
Yes, is that Dr. Johnson? Oh, okay.
You gotta get the mic.
We're waiting for you to get the
The motion to amend is perhaps the single most used of the subsidiary motions allowed by Robert's rules. You use this motion when you want to change the wording of the motion under consideration. You can use it to make a good idea better or a bad idea more powerful. Amendments are really at the heart of the process of perfecting motions before a final vote.
Okay, but what does it say about the procedure for amending? Don't you have to have the maker of the motion to accept an amendment? Because the maker was left.
Well,
The maker doesn't have to accept an amendment?
That is not a requirement.
And can you vote on an amendment without voting on the underlying motion? Because normally you can only have one motion on the floor at a time.
That is not correct.
You have
There
one
can be
motion at a
there can
time,
be multiple amendments on the floor.
but it's gonna be one motion on the floor at a time.
Yes, one motion, but there can be amendments.
So what you say that you failed to put two motions on the floor, which shouldn't have happened. It
Correct.
should have been amended to the motion.
Correct.
Rather than
We
another
started
motion.
incorrectly in the first place.
I just have one question, and I know this is parliamentarian asking this question, and there's a lot of discussion on it, okay? On bylaws, okay? That which we vote on has to be posted twice before it can vote on. If we make this change, does it have to be posted twice?
So she's saying in essence that we couldn't have an amendment on the floor tonight without actually posting it twice. So you're saying basically we have to go up or down on the amendment, which we just did.
We just did that already. Right, you did that already. Right.
So, at this point, what was the vote?
So there was.
Huh?
So there was, the roll call was, the attendance tonight is 36 present, 10 absent. But for this bylaws vote, there was 5 for, 28 against, 1 abstain, and 2 left early.
Okay, so, we're gonna take that back to the committee and, present the amendments again in the future meetings.
Thank everybody for your time, your voice has been heard.
Okay, we're almost finished with the agenda. There's no action on the public hearing, and so vote on that. Chairperson's report's gonna be very brief.
Yeah. Chair Stuyvesant?
Yeah.
There's not an opportunity to have a motion to reconsider?
I just said it's gonna go back to the committee. We just voted it down.
The original amendment?
Yeah, but the amendments, according to our bylaws, is supposed to be posted twice. Sent out twice. Yeah.
So
So it's going back to the committee. Okay, I just want.
There's 2 meetings in June.
Yeah, we have 2 meetings in June, so it's possible we come back in May. All right. May, if it comes back in May, that means we'll be voting in June. We got 2 meetings in June. Okay, just briefly, the committee, list of committee chairs and committee membership was sent out about 10 days ago. Board members will be monitored on their attendance with their primary committee. If you did not receive the email on the committee assignments, please contact the office. On training, just mention again that we're the only community board in the city that's allocated resources for staff and board member training and development. So we've received several requests from board members, and their course registrations are being processed now. Last thing for committee projects, the committee chairs, vice chairs, or co-chairs have submitted, I think most of them have submitted budgets, so we're trying to finalize the budgets for events that's going to be happening between now and June 30th, the city's fiscal year. If you have any questions, please contact the district manager on that. Can we have a motion on the minutes from the March 4th meeting?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Moved by Mr. Glasgow, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Minutes passed. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Meeting is
She tried to switch it to say all or any. It's the same thing.